Hi, I hope you're doing really well today as you come to this reading. I experienced a pretty big breakthrough when it comes to like insights into my own journey, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna make a separate video because it felt like a kind of big channeled message. But I think I am gonna just like talk about it now. Basically, I was having trouble figuring out the balance between spirituality and practicality. And I was feeling like I was delivering messages and receiving messages for myself about, like, oh, now is the time to rest, surrender, receive, or now is the time to take inspired action. Just start now, get started, whatever. And it just felt like this constant, like, back and forth, right? And so, first, the theme for this reading today is balancing act. That's the phrase that Spirit gave me before I reached this like larger breakthrough. And so life is just constantly in flux, and sometimes it can feel like we're being yanked back and forth, and that doesn't necessarily mean we're doing anything wrong or that you need to do anything to change that. Sometimes it's just a matter of like doing your best to just go with it in a way and like switch gears as soon as you get the message to switch gears, right? But basically, Spirit brought me back to this concept of the 80-20 rule, right? So I was like, okay, how do I balance? Because like, one, I'm a Pisces moon, so I'm a very much a dreamer, very much mystical, head in the clouds. I was very spacey as a kid. I still kind of am. But I was also learning about this concept of like magical thinking when it comes to like trauma brain, as I call it, where we have a tendency to like fantasize, live in our heads. There's also like this idea of limerence. All right, I'm going on a tangent, so I'm going to try to keep it focused, but that's basically magical thinking when it comes to romance, like having these fantasized, idealized relationships that don't actually exist, and it's a result of trauma a lot of times. And I was like, okay, Spirit, what's the difference between believing in magic, the power of manifestation and law of attraction, versus magical thinking and like overly fantasizing, overly like relying on this idea of miracles to fix your life while you're like sitting around and waiting and just dreaming. And so Spirit said it's 80-20 split, but maybe not in the way that you would think. So 20% spiritual, 80% material, because we are human beings having we're spiritual beings having a human experience, or we are spirits as human beings, right? We live in the material world. We don't live in the ethereal world. We interact with it and we can increase our connection to it. But at the end of the day, we really do have to pay our bills. We really do have to, in some way or another, interact with society as we live out this human existence. And so Spirit was saying that the 20% is twofold. So one, because of the potency, Spirit brought me back to that word of potent and potency of spiritual energy, of magic, of the power of God. We don't have to do that much. We don't have to spend that much time with it, because like when our faith is super on point and we are in the energy that we need to be, it can happen like that, and it can happen super easily. And so we only need to devote 20% of our conscious energy, once we've done the healing work and everything, to spiritual practices, whatever it may be. Like, you get to a point where you don't have to do a ton of rituals. You don't have to spend hours and hours, because your faith is so strong that you know that God is working in the background. And so that 80%, you can focus on your relationships with the people around you. You can focus on your career, your passions, however it is that you're making money, whatever material things bring you joy. Like, it's okay to have like certain luxuries that you enjoy, because you're living as a human being, so you're meant to be enjoying aspects of the human experience. And so I hope that made sense because it really, really clicked for me. But the rest of this reading is going to bring advice and clarification to that message. So we're going to look at the three main areas of our lives that I think of, which is like career and passions, creative projects, whatever work that you do or you want to do, interpersonal relationships, and this includes friends, families, romance, and then our spiritual growth, our inner journey, our inner worlds. All right, so we're gonna start with like an anchoring message from Spirit. I'll pray first. Sorry for the stuttering. Sometimes that happens when I'm getting into the flow of channeling. But all right, I'm gonna pray silently and leave this space for you to pray for whatever messages of the highest love and light that you need to hear today. Okay, and you can feel free to keep praying if you would like. Yeah, Moon and Four of Pentacles, spiritual, material. All right. So you're not going to see what's going on in the background. God works in mysterious ways. The universe has laws that we'll never fully comprehend. We're not meant to know completely what's going on. And because we don't have that full awareness, and as human beings, we don't necessarily have full conscious access to that power to pull all of the strings, that's where that surrender comes in. All right, so let go, let God, and know that like you're not meant to be seeing all of this stuff that's like working as it's working, okay? But also don't hold on too tightly to any expectations or preconceived notions. Allow yourself to change your mind. Allow yourself to change paths when you need to. All right? Okay, so that's an initial message. We'll see if there's anything Spirit wants to add to that. All right, so it looks like this period is like a stepping stone. Like I just got the image of someone walking up stone steps. All right, so we're not yet at our full capacity, our full potential, because we're not meant to be. We're on a journey. And so don't worry if you feel slightly dissatisfied. Like you're feeling pretty content. You're feeling like your life is good. Things are going pretty well. But you're itching for something more. You're itching like, I'm supposed to be digging deeper somehow. I don't know exactly what I'm meant to be doing. Spirit's saying trust that and know that it's going to be leading to even more happiness and success. All right, so we'll get some advice about that when it comes to like maybe career and stuff. But Spirit's saying definitely do not overthink. And just know that as human beings, we're always going to be slightly naive when it comes to the ethereal, the spiritual. Like a lot of us deep down kind of want to know it all. Like we're hardwired to seek out knowledge. We're curious, and that's a beautiful attribute, but it goes a little bit too far. I'm seeing like the Tower of Babel, and so Spirit's like building on that other image, like somebody climbing the stone steps and then they're like overreaching. Your Icarus flying too close to the sun, or if you know about the Tower of Babel in the Bible, God saying you're not meant to reach that level of actually being God. You're a human being right now, and it's a beautiful thing to have connection to source and to understand that we're able to manifest, but just make sure you're leaving room for the not knowing, for the uncertainty, the mystery, the dreams. I sometimes get these dreams and like I have to find balance between dream interpretation and just kind of like letting some stuff go, because like I don't know about you, but I get like some weird dreams where I'm like, I have no idea what that meant. So I don't know, that was just my personal experience. So um I don't know. I feel like, so I talked to Spirit about this. I was like, I'm going to do these readings, these videos, as if I'm just talking to one other person. Like, in theory, like, it's just going to be me watching this video back to myself. So sometimes I find myself, like, kind of just, like, chatting, like, the way that I talk to myself or, like, talk to my spiritual team. So hopefully, like, if you're someone who's not me watching this, that just puts you at ease or whatever. But these are going to be messages about our career. All right, we got a chunk. Okay. Spirit's like, all right, I know what I want to say. So first of all, we have that Page of Swords in reverse again, and then we also have the Knight of Swords. And I got this message the other day, and I get this message a lot, is like, don't rush the process, don't rush receiving the answers, don't try to force an answer to fit, don't try to, like, it's really good to look up to people, it's really good to look into other people's paths to success, but don't try to overanalyze and fit it to your own life, because literally every single person's journey is going to be different. No matter how much overlap, at the end of the day, you're two different people. All right, so just let your journey unfold the way that it's meant to. Back of deck, 10 of Pentacles and 4 of Pentacles again, because we had that 4 of Pentacles with the moon, remember? And so Spirit's saying that as long as you are able to balance, like, letting go and surrendering, but also working, this 10 of Pentacles is very much within your reach. Like, it's a balancing act, and it's hard to fully comprehend what it means to balance in that way. So if this is, like, frustrating you, don't worry. Spirit's holding space for that frustration and saying that that's valid, and that's also part of being human and not being able to fully wrap your mind around this experience. Okay, so 2 of Cups. In this deck, this 2 of Cups kind of emphasizes inner harmony, like becoming one, coming into union with yourself. And right now I'm getting the message of, like, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and that within ourselves, that very much makes sense, right? Because the divine feminine is more of that intuitive and ethereal energy versus the masculine, that very 3D work, take action. And so this person is walking and also has, I'm thinking of them as, like, 2 little animal friends, like animal guides. Like, so just know that you're walking along and you're just taking things as they come, and you're holding on. It's not you don't have to think of this as a burden, like this challenge of balancing, this challenge of healing past traumas and learning how to love yourself, learning how to not be overly needy or overly avoidant. Like, you don't have to think of it so much as a burden. Like, you can handle this. And this used to bother me, this type of, like, thinking of, like, oh, like, this is your cross to bear, or God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. But at the end of the day, like, when you switch your mentality around that, you realize, like, you're supported in what you're going through, and you are strong enough. And when you step into that strength, like, it's a mental shift. It's not anything that you need to gain from outside of yourself in order to be able to handle it. You already have it, but you have to know that it's going to be okay, and that you already have it, and that you have the strong support of your spiritual team. And that's going to help you find that inner harmony. You're not going to be feeling like these two polar opposites are in conflict with each other, because you're just going to be able to hold the space for it all. And just, like, it's more going to be just like your basket that you're holding, or I'm picturing the Rider-Waite for Pentacles now, where they have that, like, one coin. You're just going to be holding it contented, like, this is okay, this is my lot in life, but it's more than a lot. These are my blessings. This is what I have been blessed to learn from, to grow from, and to receive, like, what's meant to flourish for me. I hope this is making sense. Eight of Cups in reverse, and Spirit's letting me know that this is where our struggle lies, is like stopping and starting, because we start making one move and then we doubt it because we are having those like conflicting inner voices, and we're feeling like we can't progress because we've been feeling out of balance. And Spirit is saying, again, the way to let this turn upright is not to think more about it, is not to try another tactic, to try a different routine, to switch it. It's none of that. It's really just taking a step backwards. And actually sometimes so Spirit's just like saying, just go ahead and share. Like, so I was reading this guide about like problem solving for people with like mental health issues, because I personally have been overcoming mental health issues for several years. I'm in a really good place now, but I'm still working on things. And I was looking into problem solving because I've noticed that in my own thinking I get stuck. I keep running into that stuckness. And so in this problem solving guide, one of the tips for overwhelm, after you've like written out a list of your problems and you've listed out pros and cons, if you're feeling confused and stuck, they said like take a day, take several days away from the problem, decide, okay, I'm not going to consciously think about this. Like your brain's going to be working on it in the background, but when you step away and you leave space, that actually allows room for insights from the divine. It allows your mind to calm and settle, and so you're able to think more clearly, and then you're going to be able to progress. Like those obstacles are in your mind, those obstacles are from your emotions running rampant, and they're just going to like dissipate, dissolve. I'm like seeing like the image of a mist clearing, and that's going to allow the way forward. That's going to allow you to move forward to this Ace of Pentacles. It was in reverse when this was in reverse, and it goes upright not when you take on a new project. I mean, you like you will be taking on new endeavors and everything, but the way that this Ace of Pentacles comes in is from that inner work, that inner journey. And I'm just praying that this reaches whoever it resonates with, and I hope it makes sense for you, or maybe one day it will. Like maybe you receive this message today and it doesn't make sense, or you're like, oh, this is baloney, like just tarot fluff. I don't know. Like if you have a skeptical mind like me, that's sometimes what I get into. I'm like, Spirit, am I just like blowing smoke up my own ass? And Spirit's like, no, like it's okay. It's just it can be confusing. This was upright, but Spirit's saying like that's that higher learning. Like it's something you have to be patient with. You're not meant to understand it. Sorry, this is the Ace of Swords, by the way. But you're not meant to understand it like necessarily instantly. It's the learning is part of the journey. It's a journey in itself. The reaching that understanding and that wisdom takes time. That's why older equals wiser, even though age doesn't always matter. Age helps. That's why we think of our elders as wise and we come to them for advice. We have the Four of Pentacles again, and the Ace of Cups in reverse again. Right, because Spirit's reminding me this is the relationships portion. I just knocked cards over, so I'm guessing Spirit wants to show this Queen of Swords. All right, let me put this down, Spirit. So basically, Spirit is saying that this overthinking habit is seeping into your interpersonal relationships and your social and romantic lives as well. So if you're someone who had familial challenges, had past relationship challenges, it's so natural to get to a place where you have a hard time trusting people. You have a hard time entering into new connections because you just hold them up against the past thinking it's just going to turn out the same way. Spirit is validating this, and saying it makes sense, but don't hold so tightly on to those past beliefs and those past experiences. You are not your trauma. The past does not dictate the future so long as you release it. And you have blessings coming in when it comes to new connections. But you also have the potential to block those blessings. And so that's just something Spirit's bringing to your attention. So I'm going to clarify a bit more. Yeah, Three of Wands, we're expanding right now and it's uncomfortable. We're experiencing some growing pains, and that's where that frustration comes from. Growth can be sometimes just very much uncomfortable, but know that it's okay. And that you will make progress, and you are mature enough, you are ready to welcome new into your life and to find the relationship of your dreams. This is the Page of Cups in reverse. Page of Cups is a dreamer, and Spirit is saying you kind of held that dreamer in you at bay. You kind of repressed them, and Spirit is saying, bring that dreamer back out. And that person who believed in love, that person who was a hopeless romantic, let that person kind of take the wheel a little bit. Yeah, that person got knocked down in the past. That's why I paused, because I was getting a message from the way that card kind of felt like it got knocked out of my hand. And so you were feeling like you were knocked down in the past. Again, Eight of Cups in reverse, that stuckness. So that was coming out in your relationships too. But Ace of Wands, new love is coming in. You are ready. This passion is re-entering your life. That's the other thing. After trauma, it can feel very cold. It can feel like you're closed off. That spaciness that I was mentioning, I don't know if you remember when I said it at the beginning, but being a Pisces moon, I was spacey. That's also a trauma response where you detach from reality a little bit, from the real world. But that means it's hard for you to be sensual. It's hard for you to feel pleasure from physical touch or any of your senses. And Spirit's saying that's re-entering your life should you allow it, and if you feel safe. Yeah, you are safe. Yeah, you're safe now. The past is over. Let these blessings come in. They are blessings. They're not lessons. They're not more karma. It's not karmic cycles. Honestly, sometimes karmic cycles are more so just us repeating patterns, being drawn to people who are familiar, meaning if we were hurt, there are people who display similar patterns. We don't do it on purpose. It wasn't our fault. Yeah, so the positive, really happy message is that blessings are coming in when it comes to new friendships, new relationships. And so Spirit really, really wants you to take heart and to know that life is going to be so good for you. I'm seeing this sun on the horizon. They're walking towards that. That's you. Okay, you're walking towards sunshine and good things and love, good love, healthy love, justice. Karmics are no more. They don't have a place in your life. I don't know if you're someone who uses that term or are familiar with it. But let's see what Spirit would like to add when it comes to our spiritual growth and journey. And I was pulled toward my homemade deck. Ask for what you need is ask Spirit for insight. That's what I did this week, and that's what led to my breakthrough. It's very subtle, and don't worry if you don't totally understand how to do this yet, but be open when you get a random idea. I've had insight come from like getting the idea to Google a certain person and coming upon like an article of some sort, or I've gotten insight from the algorithm on YouTube, like putting the perfect video that like gave me a message. Like messages can come from anywhere. So ask spirit for a sign, for synchronicities, they will deliver. Ask your spiritual team if you have spirit guides that you work with, ancestors, and know that you are enough, you are safe, you are lovable, all right? You are love. Yeah, like when I set the intention to like attract like my collective, like my people to these videos I put out, I guess like at first I was like, oh yeah, it'll just be like creative types, whatever. But it turns out it's like also, you know, people who have been through stuff, which I'm like, everybody has been through like trauma. Like if it feels like that word has been overused, it's because it's rampant. It's because that's part of life, is like we go through these challenges that help us to learn and grow. And so, yeah, it seems like I'm talking to people who are on a similar mental health and trauma recovery journey. If you don't feel like you identify with that, that's okay too. Just like you can apply this to whatever challenges you've experienced. Yeah, these are like the perfect cards for this. Michael's sword, you are protected. If you believe in archangels, feel free to pray to Archangel Michael. This card on the back has keywords that say protection, guidance. So again, asking for signs, synchronicities, insights. Remember, messages can come from anywhere and everywhere. Archangel Michael has your back. Stay rooted in your divinity, that 80-20, like you're living this human experience, but you have that support from that potent spiritual energy. And the light is way more powerful than evil. Whatever person did whatever to you, the light is more powerful. It can transmute whatever happened to you. You're not broken. You are so powerful and blessed, and call in divine support. And if you resonate with chakras, this relates to the throat chakra. And then we have this, it's all love. And this is very much about love being all that is and the rest being an illusion. And so the keywords are oneness, contentment, acceptance. Everything is everything. You are woven into the fabric of the universe. God is love. Love always wins, and love has won. Crown chakra. Yeah, very much connection to source. And this is let down your guard. And this is about letting that new love in, letting those new connections in. And Spirit's saying that like the more that your faith is strengthened and the deeper you go into your spirituality, the more confident and comfortable you're going to be entering into any new connections. So the keywords are vulnerability, intimacy, connection. You deserve to be loved. And again, you are love. I'm saying that again. That's not what it says on there. But open your heart to new experiences and people. It is safe for you to love with your whole heart. The past does not determine your future. And heart chakra. And then last, empowerment. And that's when you feel empowered, those past types of people can't get to you anymore. Like think about how bullies go for people that they think they can overpower. They go for the smaller person, the runt, whoever they feel like they can pick on and they can put down to make themselves feel better. That's who they go for. And it's not that person's fault. It's absolutely the bully's fault, but that's just how those types of people operate. And so your spiritual growth brings you this sense of empowerment. And this card always reminds me of the Three of Wands, which Wands is a very spiritual suit in the deck, right? Like there's a few different aspects to the meaning of wands, but right now I'm getting that like connection to spirit, to source energy, and that's where your confidence comes from. So the words on here are pride, healthy pride. We need a certain level of self-esteem. Don't be afraid that you're going to be a narcissist the second you start getting confidence. Like, a healthy level of pride allows you to go after the things you want. It allows you to take agency back in your life, right? Okay, and so strength and resolve. Be proud of who you are. You are awesome. You are one with source. You are so beautiful, and you didn't deserve anything bad that happened to you. Grounded and centered in your own energy, so you may be empathic and you may have struggled with absorbing the energies of those around you, or catering to other people's energy to try and mitigate the pain that you were feeling from the people around you, and you get to release that at this point. Move forward with confidence, right? 8 of Cups, move forward with confidence. Stand up for yourself and what is right. And know that when you stand up for yourself, you are backed by angels, God, spirit, your ancestors, whatever energies of the highest love and light you believe in, you are backed up by them. And so that strength is even more, it's tenfold. And so when you stand up for yourself, even if somebody responds like badly to it, know that you're going to be fine no matter what. Solar plexus chakra. All right, so those are awesome messages to just know that your faith is enough to get you through. And that's your faith, that 20%, your faith the size of a mustard seed, is enough to help you begin to take the steps to move forward in your life. Steps forward, not necessarily steps to this spiritual ego of I am God, I have the power to manifest, I can just sit around, whatever, but like steps forward on your path. You're not meant to, like, very few people are meant to be reaching like enlightenment on the top of the mountain in isolation. Like, no, you're meant to connect with those around you and have loving relationships and have a fulfilling career and everything. That's what your spiritual journey is for. I mean, not to tell you that's what you're, but this is what Spirit's coming through to say. Spirit was like, you're channeling, stop doubting what you're saying, because it's me talking. Anyway, Spirit and I have a very like jokey relationship, and it's really nice. Yeah, I guess I'm just like, this reading, just sharing more about myself and stuff in my relationship to Spirit. So hopefully that like is something you're okay with. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna get final messages from this Starseed Oracle deck. You are not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. So no need to isolate, no need to be afraid of other people. Know that you're building community now from a place of confidence and knowing who you are beyond what has happened to you. Okay, I was like, Spirit, do you have anything from this deck? Right, lifting the veil, but it's actually in reverse, and I got the message, like the reminder about that, like not needing to know everything. I'll read the rest of what's on the card though. Questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. So yes, anything unaligned is definitely falling away, and definitely question, be skeptical. Don't take any like gurus, any people who are like, you know, spiritual leaders, take what they say with a grain of salt. But when it comes to the mysteries of God and the universe, sometimes don't question it. Honestly, just don't question like something happening that feels miraculous and you're like, oh no, like, do I deserve this? Know that you deserve it if it came from God, right? Or you definitely deserve everything good in your life. But yeah, so this in reverse, I'm getting that message of like, you don't need to be certain about everything going on. The courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. So that's that empowerment, that confidence, that courage to step out into the light, to meet new people, to pursue whatever you want in your career. And you are definitely meant to shine. I've gotten that message in another YouTube reading. So whoever you are meant to shine. We the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. So you're being nurtured. And if you feel like you were lacking some of that nurturing in the past, you felt very alone and unsupported, know that you have spiritual support and you're getting human support very, very soon. And then karmic relationships in reverse. This was in reverse in front of me. So it says karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. We are now entering a phase where we get to grow through ease and flow. And that balancing act is going to come more naturally to us. And we're not going to need to experience polarity when it comes to somebody coming in who just feels like how can they even be this mean, and like, why am I attracting this? What am I doing? Like, am I like this person? Am I the narcissist, etc., etc.? That's over and done with. That's in reverse. All right, so I will leave you with that. Basically, beautiful things are coming and you have to allow them in. No, you get to allow them in. You get to experience the fullness of life. You get to be a human being who feels pleasure, who feels joy, who enjoys the luxuries of life, who enjoys career success, financial gains, and God loves you so, so much. All right, so have a great week.